Hi, everybody. Welcome to Better Lait Than Never. Shit.
I'm not actually inside a women's prison at the moment.
Horniest just went up to like 11.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Say a big f*** you to Nick.
I love your Remtra. Must go to Cinco de Mayo.
Ty, why won't you kiss me?
Better late than never.
Better late than never. Good afternoon. All right, we're going to turn down the intro. We got a lot to get to. I want to wrap up this podcast. I want to go enjoy myself. Maybe make a pasta. I don't know what I'm thinking about that, but do you have anything that you just make when you're lazy? I make a lot of pasta when I'm lazy. A lot of stir fries. You know, just shit that you can just kind of chop it up, chuck it in there. When I was growing up, my grandma used to always make soup. And the way she used to make soup was she would open up her fridge, be like, I got a bunch of shit. Chuck it in the pot. Make it work. I don't know why I'm thinking about that right now. That had nothing to do with anything that I want to talk about today. I am kind of off track already. I'm hungry. It's 10-4. Oilers are on a 3-game win streak. I'm in a good mood, and that just kind of makes me mind wander, you know? Kind of makes me mind wander. I want to start off the podcast as I always do with a shout out to the audio department. They're making this podcast sound better by the day. Go check out theaudiodepartment.ca. One thing I most recently learned about the audio department, they have a wide selection of vintage gear in the studio. Want to go put a beat down? Want to shred? Want to practice? You want to workshop? Why not do it with some cool equipment? Go check out theaudiodepartment.ca, book some studio time. Where do I start? Last week, left you thinking about Frank had dental surgery. My dude. He had a broken tooth, had to come out. You know? Had to come out. That was always the plan. Take him in on Friday. They call, they go, hey, just so you know, like once he's out, we're going to really dig around in there. We're going to see what's going on. And if you have a short-faced dog, or if you've ever had a short-faced dog, they still have the same number of teeth, but they're all jammed into a much smaller spot. So when they're out, they go, just so you know, if we find some teeth in there, we're going to give you a call if they need to come out. So ultimately, Frank had 4 teeth pulled. He had the broken one. He had 2 way in the back on the bottom. They were like way in the back that, you know, the vet said, listen, these don't do anything in his mouth, but they were pushing hard on some more important teeth in front of them. So those came out. And then in the very front, his little teeths, he had to get one in the bottom on the front pulled because it was pushing on his canine tooth. That one's more important than the guy that was coming out. So now his mouth is a little less crowded. But the dude is not allowed to play with any of his toys, especially because he can't chew, man. He's got fucking open wounds in his mouth. So he's had no toys for the last little bit, and he is upset about it. The fun part about this is, though, for the 3 days following his surgery, Frank was very high. He was just on pain meds. And they go, just so you know, these pain meds can make him a little bit loopy. It depends how he reacts to them. They're kind of strong. Wean him off over the next couple of days, and that's what I did. But I would say if his surgery was on Friday, Saturday, he was fucking out of here. He was on a rocket ship to Mars, man. He was living his best life. The hardest part I had to do was not laugh at him. And secondly, prevent him from rubbing his face on the ground, which is just something he likes to do. He put his head down and then he'll bulldozer himself forward to get a good itch. Can't do that when you got open wounds in your mouth, man. Cannot do that. So anyway, Frank is on the mend. Frank's picks yesterday. He was there. He did it successfully. Another win for Frank. His record is improving, as is the Oilers, but we'll get to that. So if you're wondering about Frank, there's your update. He is on soft foods for the time being. And I don't know that he likes them. This guy's a very spoiled dog. I spoiled his dog. If you've seen any of his outfits, you already know. Anyway, moving on. I want to talk about the Nation Vacation real quick. Coming up, it's already November 29th. So before you know it, it's going to be the February long weekend. We're going down to Arizona to watch the boys play in a teeny tiny little barn. Nationgear.ca. Go get yourself a trip and join us. We have got a crew of, I think, probably 8 or 9 Nation staff that'll be there. We're gonna make this one into a party. We're gonna make a lot of content. We'd love you to join in on the content. We'd love you to join us. Nationgear.ca. Get all the details you need for that trip and more. And lastly, just since I'm talking about nationgear.ca, thank you to everybody that came out and supported us for the Blackout collection this year. I thought the designs were sick. I thought they were arguably some of the best designs we've ever made for the Blackout collection for Black Friday. I want to give a shout out to our new designer, Eric. You probably haven't heard that name. Eric, behind the scenes, he's doing a lot of the designs for Nation Gear right now, including what he made as like a job interview for us. I find this fascinating. So if you go into the Oilers Nation line at nationgear.ca, there is a Oil Derrick t-shirt. It's a retro Oil Derrick t-shirt. Not D-E-R-E-K. No, D-E-R-R-I-C-K. And that one actually, there's a long sleeve, there's a crew neck, there's a few different versions of it. So that one specifically, Eric made almost as like, or designed, I should say, almost as a job interview with us. Fucking cool, man. Guy loves the Nation, loves hockey. Go check it out. Eric is on the job along with Kennedy. Kennedy's not gone anywhere. Don't think about that. And they're making some good shit for us. Nationgear.ca. Lots to get to today, so let's get to the news. The news is brought to you by Alberta Blue Cross. There's only one thing better than sharing memories, and that's making new ones. Alberta Blue Cross Travel Insurance protects your memories and more wherever travel takes you. Visit ab.bluecross.ca/travel. That is ab.bluecross.ca/travel for more information. They are our official travel insurance provider for all Nation vacations. See how that tied in? You see how I did that? It just all tied in from the intro right into the news. Alberta Blue Cross is making it happen. I'm very, very proud to have them on the podcast. I, myself, am an Alberta Blue Cross member. Got to go get my eyes checked here soon. I'm overdue. Do I need new glasses? Has my prescription changed? I don't know. Thankfully, Alberta Blue Cross has given me the coverage to be able to go do that. Thinking about getting my eyes done this year. Or I guess next year. Thinking about getting laser surgery. If you've ever had laser eye surgery, hit me up. Drop me a voicemail. Just hit me up on socials. Send me a DM. I'm curious. Do your eyes get dry? I think I'm over wearing glasses. If you think about my eyes, they're not that shitty, but they're kind of shitty. Meaning, like, I need my glasses to drive, but I can navigate my life without them on. You want me driving, though? Glasses on. You want me staring at a laptop? You want me reading a book? Glasses on. Watching TV? Sometimes they're on, sometimes they're off. That's just how my eyes are. Astigmatism, friends. Astigmatism. But that's not what we're here to talk about. Although I would like your feedback if you have gotten laser eye surgery. I'm curious how it goes. We're here to talk about the Edmonton Oilers being on a 3-game win streak. It's been a minute. Well, it hasn't. In fact, they were on a 3-game win streak, including a win by Woody in in Seattle. Then the Oilers dropped their games against Tampa Bay, winnable, Florida, winnable, Carolina, arguably the worst game I've ever seen. And then they picked it up with 3 straight wins over the Capitals, the Ducks, and the Golden Knights. So they're not getting any credit for these wins either. That's what I find is interesting. So the Capitals, they're fake news, even though they're going into that game at 8-1-1 in their last 10 prior to Friday's matinee game. The Oilers stomped them, 5-rip. Sunday, Ducks in town, 8-2 win. You 8-2 see it.
Oh, please don't start with the puns. I fucking hate puns.
Sorry, Satan. And then last night with the Golden Knights in town, the Oilers won at 5-4 in the shootout. Arguably made it a little bit more difficult than it should have been. Arguably. The boys were up 4-2 in the third period, gave up 2 goals on 3 shots to kick off. I think the Golden Knights ended up with 5 shots overall in the third period last night. But the Oilers made it difficult, a little bit harder than it should have been. The nice part about that, though, is if you fast forward 3 weeks, or rewind 3 weeks, I should say, if you rewound 3 weeks and the Oilers were in that exact same position where they were up 4-2, tied it 4-4 going into overtime, there's no way they close out a win. There's just no way. And I think that finding ways to win, even when things aren't going your way necessarily, or you're fucking things up, as they did slightly, I'm looking at you, Stu, in the third period, I think that is a good sign. Finding ways to win games that things aren't necessarily going right. On Sunday, they stomped the Ducks. 8-2, no doubt about it. Lucas Dostal was he gave up 6 and like 20 shots or something. It was fucking awesome. But they're not all like that. So I like the fact that the Oilers finding ways to win games in different fashions. 5-rip in Washington. Could have been 5-1, got a little bit of luck. Ovi scored off the draw, but they ended up redoing the draw. What's going on with that, by the way? Why are we having so many redos on faceoffs? The linesmen starting to get in on the action now? Anyway, last night, the reffing, by the way, for the record, yes, it was 5-4 win for the Oilers in the shootout. Shouldn't even have gone to overtime. The tying goal actually came on an immediate trip/interference on Connor McDavid that happened right in front of the referee.
We all know they have a quote on what they can call against the Golden Knights. You were complaining about it in the playoffs for weeks. The Golden Knights just kind of get whatever they want. The refs are always on their side, and the others end up getting fucked. Personally, as an enjoyer of your pain and suffering, I love to see you stomping around the house having a bad time. But last night, I kind of agree with you. The refs fucked that one up a little bit.
See, even Satan's on my side. Do your job. That game doesn't even go to overtime. It's a regulation win for the Oilers. Whatever. We move on. Tomorrow. Is that tomorrow? Yeah. Tomorrow, the 30th of November, they play the Winnipeg Jets. And then that is it for 6 days. I think. Yeah, that is it until the 6th when the Carolina Hurricanes are in town. Is this in town? Yeah. Okay. When the Carolina Hurricanes are in town on the 6th of December, so why the gap? Why no games on the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th? Well, Jason Gregor, our own Jason Gregor, broke the news today that Connor McDavid is being inducted into Canada's Walk of Fame. And the Oilers actually asked the schedule makers if they could just have a day or two, like a little break in there so that Connor could go accept the award. He could be a part of the ceremony that happens in Toronto on the weekend. And they go, yes, you can. And then here's some bonus days, I guess. So I guess the Oilers get a second bye week almost. They do have a bye week later in the season, I believe, but they got a free one, I guess. That'd be good to see for some guys who, one, there's a lot of practice time in there for Nobby. Two, if there's some guys with bumps and bruises, they can get a little bit of healing time in there. But I want to stick with Connor McDavid. First of all, congratulations, Connor. Canada's Walk of Fame. Where are you going to put that thing? Put it outside my house. I'll take care of it. I would love to take care of Connor McDavid's star or whatever it is. I'd love to take care of it. I'd like to be the custodian of that. Somebody task me with that. I'll do it for free. As long as it's outside my house, it'll be always shoveled in the winter, properly shined in the summer, and it will be viewable at all times for anybody who wants to come, not in front of my house, but just like maybe down the road somewhere. You know what I mean? Sticking with Connor McDavid for a second. Obviously, he's going to be added to Canada's Walk of Fame. That is very, very impressive. That is very impressive indeed. But another thing that everybody's talking about is last night, a 3-point period. Connor McDavid is the first player to record a 3-point period in 3 consecutive games since Mario Lemieux did it October 26th to November 1st, 1995. I don't know if you could do the math on this with me, but that's a long time ago. That's a long time ago. It's like 30 years almost. Let me see. Do the math on it. Carry the one. Put that over there. Yeah.
Are you really doing the math on your hands, you fucking idiot?
How dare you, Satan? But yeah, almost 30 years since anybody has done what Connor McDavid did. 12 points in his last 3 games. It's hilarious. It shot him up from essentially, in the last 4 games, Connor McDavid has 15 points. He had 12 points in his last 3 games. If we extended 4 games, that's 15 points. He was tied for 137th in league scoring. After last night's 3-point performance, it moved him up to 9th. Have you ever seen Terminator 2? Do you remember that movie? Are you youngsters that listen to this podcast? I'm looking at you, Ari, and Nick, Ben. Ben DM me, by the way. He said, sorry, I haven't been around. I've been busy with school. I'm like, you know what, man? Being busy with school is way more important than this is garbage. I'll tell you that much. But have you guys seen Terminator 2? Because there's a scene when, how would I explain this if you haven't seen it? When the antagonist Terminator is running after the car. So if you can picture him running after a car and slowly catching up, he's very, very quick. That is Connor McDavid flying up the NHL leaderboard in terms of points production. I would not be at all surprised if he is in first place by the end of December. That's my bet. That is my not betway bet that Connor McDavid is in first place by the end of December. I don't know how many games that is. The Oilers' schedule is very strange this year, but that's my guess. That is my guess. Another guy who came in and scored last night is Sam Gagner. So Sammy only has played 9 games with the Oilers so far. Only 9 games so far. And the reason I mention that is because he's got 3 goals and an assist. If you look at the Oilers' bottom 6 production, Sam Gagner all of a sudden is right there at the top of it. I don't know who or anyone that would have expected Sam Gagner to be one of the leading scorers in the bottom six. Ryan McLeod, still without a goal. My guy has gotten chances and chances and chances. He just cannot get anything to go. Ryan McLeod still without a goal. Derek Ryan's got 2. James Hamlin's got 2. Shout out to James Hamlin, by the way. This kid only scores beauty. Edmonton product playing for the Oilers. That's a cool fucking story. Adam Ernie's got 0 goals, though last night was arguably his best game as an Oiler. Connor Brown still looking for his first goal. Raph Lavoie, who is no longer with us, only played 6 games with the Oilers before being sent back to Bakersfield, also has no goals. So to see Sam Gagner with 3, which is tied with Warren Foegele, who's played 21 games compared to Sam's 9, the value that we are getting right now from Sammy Gagner is ridiculous. And I know he's not a everyday player at this point. If you have him as your extra forward and he comes in from time to time, that's fine with me. I'm cool with that. He's got the double hip surgery. He's in his mid-30s now. I understand the logic. But when he's in there and he's playing next to no minutes and he's scoring big goals just as he did last night against the Vegas Golden Knights, it's kind of hard to keep him out of the lineup, isn't it? Just me? Can't just be me. Can't be. I refuse to believe it. When I look at the box score from last night's game, Sam Gagner only played 7:23. 7 minutes and 23 seconds. He had 2 shots on goal, a hit, and obviously the goal. Big night for Sam Gagner. Whereas, like I mentioned, and I'm not picking on Ryan McLeod, I see some people out there right now that are trying to trade Ryan McLeod because he doesn't have a goal yet. Listen, man. 37 games without a goal, I believe, going back into last season. It's not going great for Ryan McLeod on the offensive side of his game. But the wild thing about it is he is absolutely, to quote Low Tide, pushing the river when it comes to his possession metrics. If you are into the fancies, do you want me to dive into the spreadsheets for a second?
Oh, God, you're not going to pretend to be a math guy now, are you?
Get out of here, Satan. I'm talking. Ryan McLeod, his Corsi 4 is 61.76%. So if you don't know what that means, real quick, Corsi 4 means you just think about shot attempts on goal. You know, block shots, shots that actually hit, shots that miss the net. Those attempts, he is getting 61.76% of them when he's on the ice, meaning that the other way is only 39%. So logically, you want your players to be shooting more than the other players, right? If you look at his XGF percentage, which is expected goals for percentage, Ryan McLeod is at 56.81, which essentially means that he should be scoring more than half. His line, I guess, should be scoring more than half the time when there are goals scored when he's on the ice. He's getting chances, he's getting looks, and damn it if that line isn't playing some good hockey. But I don't know what kind of exorcism we need to do. I don't know what kind of deal we need to make. Some kind of pact.
Are you saying you need to make a pact? Listen, if you want Ryan McLeod to score a couple of goals, Satan has a couple ideas on how you can get there.
What do you have in mind?
Well, let me see. You already sold your soul. You sold your soul for a 100-point season for Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, so I've already got that in my pocket. I would like the dog's soul.
You want Frank's soul?
I would like Frank's soul.
Why is that?
He's super handsome.
I can't disagree with that. He is handsome.
And that's why I want it.
I don't know if I want to do that.
I think you should consider it.
We'll see. I think Ryan McLeod is going to score on his own, Satan, frankly. He's getting the chances. Do not give up on Ryan McLeod yet. If you're listening to this, that's my ask of you this week. Don't give up on Ryan McLeod. Not yet. Not yet. I know sometimes he just looks like a fast guy out there. Damn it, he's fast. But I think that the goals are going to come here eventually. The point is he has to actually make that happen, right? The good news is that other guys are starting to score, and it's helping the Oilers. Like I said, Connor McDavid, 12 points in his last 3 games, 15 points in his last 4. Fucking guys on fire. Leon Draisaitl, he's got some goals. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins got some goals. Zach Hyman missed last night's game with an illness. He is leading the team in goal scoring. Vander Kane bumped up in his spot. Kane comes up with a huge power play goal. There's some guys that are bumping. There's some guys that are grooving. And there's some guys that are scoring right now. And we just need Ryan McLeod and Warren Foegele and Connor Brown to get on board. I like, is it luck? Is it luck that they need? Do they need somebody to bank one in off their ass or something just to get some mojo going? I don't know what it is. But we need those guys to get going. Connor Brown did get his first point as an Edmonton Oiler last week, I should say. And in my 3 key things article at OilersNation.com, I just mentioned it. I was like, hey, Connor Brown, I hope this opens the floodgates for you, pal. I bet it feels good to finally get an assist on the board, given that you're probably gripping the stick a little bit. And man, did I get roasted. I got roasted so bad. Because essentially people just had enough of it. You're paying $4 million for a player who's got 1 assist, and it's a tough sell, and I get it. But don't blame me, man. I'm just trying to look at positive. I'm looking for silver linings, baby. Connor Brown got his first point, and I'm hoping there are more to come. Hoping being the key word there. It's not going great. I'm not going to lie about it. But I'm always hopeful. Hopeful never die. That's been our motto around OilersNation.com for years now. And we'll see. One thing I will say, though, last night he played 16-31. This is Connor Brown, that is. Only 1 shot on net, 22 shifts. You got to figure out a way to get more pucks on net. Just throw things at the net, man. Think of Sam Gagner's goal, the one that went in for Sammy. He just threw a puck on net from a weird angle near the side of the boards, snuck its way through. Sometimes you just got to put pucks on net. Sometimes. Right? Back it up to the last time that Connor Brown actually was able to play a little bit was in 2021-22 with the Ottawa Senators. He had 10 goals and 29 assists for 39 points in 64 games. The guy has some touch, but none of it has arrived in Edmonton to this point, and I'll still be cheering for him.
Do you want to make a deal?
No, Satan, get out of here. I'm not making a deal for Connor Brown. Listen, the guy's got paid $4 million to do nothing.
I thought you just said you were sticking up for him. You're trying to defend the guy. Now you're saying he's doing nothing. Do you want to make a deal or not?
No. I believe Ryan McLeod, Warren Fogle, Connor Brown, they're all going to score soon. Maybe. Would I bet on it? Probably not. But maybe. Speaking of goals, I want to give a quick shout out to Matvei Petrov for his first pro goal and the teddy bear toss that followed with the Condors when he scored that goal for the Condors. If you've seen a teddy bear toss before, they wait for a home side goal, somebody scores it, people chuck all these bears on the ice for charity. It's awesome. And for Matvei Petrov to get his first with his parents in the building and then the teddy bear toss, love that. I love it. I absolutely love it. It is just fantastic. Fantastic stuff. It's good sports, baby. It's just like, I like those moments. Like when James Hamlin scores his first NHL goal, points skyward, dedicates it to his mom. Love that shit. Matvei Petrov getting his first, parents in the building, teddy bear toss. Love that shit. That's good sports. That is good sports. Changing gears away from the Oilers and the organization, which includes the Condors. Former coach Dallas Eakins is now the head coach GM for the Adler Mannheim in Germany. What a pivot. 2014 seems like forever ago, doesn't it? Do you remember when he landed at the airport, hugging his kids, took the donuts away from the media? He said he was going to change things. He said he was going to change the fitness. He said he was going to do it all. He said he was going to do the swarm. You remember the swarm? Well, his career has taken a pivot, obviously, as he is now the head coach GM for Adler Mannheim in Germany, which is not where he wanted to be. Got fired, or not renewed, I guess, after head coaching the Ducks last year. Things just haven't gone well for old Dallas since he left the Toronto Marlies. I feel bad for the guy, though I don't know what that is. If your organization, however, does want a first overall pick, may I recommend Dallas Eakins or Taylor Hall? Taylor Hall is also collecting first overall picks. Speaking of the Blackhawks, Taylor Hall's out for the entire season, by the way, which is weird. Just a fucking wild career that guy's had since leaving Edmonton. Just bananas. He went from being an MVP in New Jersey to getting traded to Arizona and then signing in Buffalo. And then he was in Boston, and then Boston traded him to the Chicago Blackhawks. Now he's out for the year. Wild times if you're Taylor Hall. But I'm going to stick with the Blackhawks here for a little bit, as the story of the week was obviously the Corey Perry thing out in Chicago.
Are we going to talk about the rumors? I loved the memes. The memes were so funny. Can we talk about the memes?
Listen, the memes were funny, but they were also grossly inaccurate. There's a whole family of people that got dragged through the mud for literally no reason. Right? Over at dailyfaceoff.com, Frank Saravalli kind of gave us some details about what happened behind the scenes. And I quote, The Blackhawks claimed in a statement on Tuesday that Perry was in violation of his standard playing contract and the Blackhawks' internal policies intended to promote professional and safe work environment. The big question lingering is whether Perry's alleged misconduct has risen to the level of material breach of his contract. For the test of time, NHL player contracts have been ironclad agreements that guarantee employment with only vaguely worded and limited exceptions that grant teams the right to terminate. Given the lack of detail provided by the Blackhawks, it is impossible to know whether Perry's conduct met that mostly unprecedented level of material breach. Saravalli continues, teams have previously sent players home and continued to pay them until the expiration of their contracts, but there does not appear to be one example in recent NHL history of an active player's contract being terminated for conduct that may be inappropriate but not illegal. The Los Angeles Kings attempted to terminate Mike Richards' contract back in 2015, 4 months after he was charged with attempting to cross a border in possession of a controlled substance. But even then, the Kings were forced to pay cap recapture penalties and termination fees to Richard, totaling $10.5 million over 17 years through 2032. Saravalli continues, according to sources, an alcohol-fueled incident involving Perry was alleged to have occurred during an event that included corporate partners and team employees in attendance. It remains unclear what allegedly took place, who witnessed it, and who reported it to the team. Blackhawks GM Kyle Davidson said that the front office learned of the allegation while in Columbus last week and immediately pulled Perry from the lineup prior to a Thanksgiving Eve game against the Blue Jackets. Davidson declined to provide any detail about allegations or a subsequent investigation before resulting in the termination that was scheduled to be completed on Wednesday, which was today. As this is an individual personal matter, I will not be able to disclose any details during the initial reporting, investigation, or the findings, Davidson said in prepared remarks on Tuesday before taking questions. All I know for sure is that the Corey Perry situation is grim. It doesn't sound good at all. This is an unprecedented event. The Blackhawks aren't really giving too many details, but they did say, and I'm paraphrasing for Kyle Davidson here, that the rumors involving family members of teammates are baseless and disgusting. Those are the ones you know. Those were the memes you probably laughed at, but ultimately it was all for naught. It was all fiction. And the person who started the rumor, if you really back it up, deleted all social media. So something to think about. A little joke gone way too far. I legitimately feel bad for the Bedards. They just got shit on for days on social media, and it was completely unfounded. And I just feel for them.
You're not going to pretend you didn't laugh at the memes, though, right? Like, I laughed at the memes. Like, how could you not? Some of them were fucking fantastic.
Yes, I will admit I laughed at the memes. But now that I know, a little bit different. Not quite as funny. Lastly, before we wrap up the news for our friends at Alberta Blue Cross, again, visit ab.bluecross.ca/travel. Patrick Kane finally landed with the Detroit Red Wings for a one-year contract at $2.75 million. Daniel Sprong gave up number 88 for the future Hall of Famer to come in. We'll see what Patrick Kane does with the Red Wings. You know, they're currently in a playoff spot as I'm recording this on November 29th. Hasn't played all season. The double hip surgery, lots going on. Things didn't go well for him in New York last year either, mind you. So we'll see what happens now that he has officially joined the Detroit Red Wings. Patrick Kane watch, showtime at Little Caesars Arena. It's on. The news is brought to you by Alberta Blue Cross. Visit ab.bluecross.ca/travel for more information. There's only one thing better than sharing memories, and that's making new ones. Alberta Blue Cross Travel Insurance protects your memories and more wherever travel takes you, including Arizona in February. Nationgear.ca. Join us.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to snuggle. Better late than never.
I don't remember that bumper at all. Time to talk about a little betting for our friends at Betway, provided that you are 19 plus and could do so responsibly. Let's talk about how your boy has done over the last two games because I have been red hot. I have been red hot. 2 days ago, or I guess, what was that? 2 games ago, I'll say that. Against the Anaheim Ducks, the kid went a little heavy, and the kid came through with all of his bets. I went 5 for 5 on the night. Leon Draisaitl, anytime goal scorer, plus 100, plus money for Leon Draisaitl goals. Crazy, we're still there. You cash that one in. Over 1.5 total power play goals at minus 125. The end of the game, Matthias Ekholm scores a power play goal to give me that bet as well. Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl both to score at plus 275. That one looks real nice. Again, you get that one to cash. The dynamic duo comes through. Edmonton Oilers money line and over 6.5 total goals at plus 120. Again, you hit it. Again, you fucking hit it. And then the Edmonton Oilers to win every period, meaning that they had to outscore the Ducks in every single period, plus 625. Oh, that one's juicy. And Bag Milk got it again. Now, at Nation HQ, if you didn't know, when we hit bets like this, the tradition is you got to bring in donuts for the squad. I was happy to bring in donuts after a night like that. And then, after last night's game, it looks like I'm going back to the well. What happened there? I'm getting too excited on the soundboard. Did you hear that little... Hang on. All right, I think we're good. Evan Bouchard over 2.5 shots on goal at plus 110. You know you hit it. He had 3 shots on goal in a single power play. Oilers to win and over 5.5 total goals at plus 162. $5 turns into $13.12. You know I hit it. Connor McDavid, anytime goal scorer at plus 120. The kid is on fire and he's still got plus odds for goals. You know I hit that. You know I hit that. What I did miss, though, as I will tell you about my losses, over 61.5 total shots on goal at minus 116. They had 61 total shots between the Golden Knights and the Oilers last night. I needed one more shot to hit that one. The second thing I missed last night was Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl both to score. I hit it against Anaheim. I was hoping for a repeat last night against Vegas. Didn't hit. Leon didn't score. That would have been nice, but the team still gets some delicious donuts from old Uncle Bag Milk when I roll into the office tomorrow. That's the way we do it, and that's the way we celebrate wins, and that's why I love Betway, because I am 19 plus, and I can do so responsibly. If you're putting a couple of shekels down, you may as well do it at Betway.
Good afternoon. You're listening to Better Late Than Never. And Donkey Volley is a fucking dickhead.
You want to see a man, boy? I'll show you a man. Kick me in the jimmy.
Trilogy Oilfield Rentals. It is time for the righteous sack beating. Of course, Trilogy Oilfield Rentals are an established provider of tools and expertise across multiple oil field disciplines, specializing in rentals, pipe recovery, abandonments, and completions. Currently, they maintain full-time operating units in Provost, Weyburn, and Kindersley. This is the time when I get to push this button, and I tell you what kind of tools they've got.
Rental tools? What? Not Satan. Satan. You want to do it, Satan? All right, Satan's in. Rental tools, fishing tools, drilling tools, coil tools, mills and bits, completion tools, any job. Any tool for any job. TrilogyRentals.ca.
I don't actually have a righteous sack beating this week. Life's going pretty well. The Oilers are winning. My bankroll is flush. My dog is recovering from dental surgery. Overall, I'm pretty happy. My Christmas tree's up. Looks great. Feels festive. Shea Castle Bag Milk. Thankfully, Owen is chiming in. He's stepping in for me with a righteous sack beating. Owen, what do you got bothering you this week, my friend?
All right, Bag Milk, I got a RSB here. I have a problem. My problem is with Mother Nature and why the hell there is absolutely no snow and it's almost December.
Wait a minute. Why is that a problem? You big skier? Big ice fisherman? We talked about this on Real Life the other day. If you are a big skier or an ice fisherman, this is not for you, or an ODR guy. This is not for you, but for me, I get to take my dude on walks where it's not freezing and snowing. I love it. I will take this all the way through until next spring, please.
Like, I live at the ODR. Like, I get home from work or school, and I go to the ODR. Well, I can't go to the ODR. I can't go skiing. Well, I could go skiing, but only half the hills are open. Like, it's ridiculous. I live in Canada. I expect to have a white November and December. Thank you very much.
You want to see a man, boy? I'll show you a man. Kick me in the jimmy.
Maybe if he asks Mother Nature very nicely that she'll send you some snow. Out here in Vancouver, it's just a little rainy and drizzly, but I always have a good time because I love this weather in Vancouver.
Thanks, Quads. Haven't heard from you in a while, buddy. Everything going okay?
Everything's going great. the Canucks are the best team in the NHL. If you listen to me, I'll tell you that they aren't my favorite team and that I'm not a Canucks fan. I'm a balanced journalist, but, you know, in reality, I'm having a great time because nobody expected them to be good. I love it.
There goes Quads. Was that a righteous sack beating? I don't know. I have no idea, but shout out to Owen. I don't care that you're upset there's no snow. I'm very happy there's no snow. We don't get these El Nino winters very often. How often? It's supposed to be like they're cyclical, I believe. What is that cycle? I have no idea. But I am not subscribing to this no snow is bad. I just can't. I can't.
You ever get so damn frustrated you don't even know what to say? Well, of course you do, because you're a fan of the Edmonton Oilers. And you're listening to Better Late Than Never.
How about my guy Mike? Mike with a bumper. Smooth as silk, that voice. He sent me a DM on Instagram and he goes, hey man, thanks for the compliments on my voice. I was like, why are you not doing VOs for literally everybody? Put it together, a mixtape. Go to the audio department. Let's do some joint work here. Let's get Mike in front of a mic, recording some commercials of some kind. By the way, the voicemail is currently unsponsored. If you want to sponsor it, know somebody who does, I will cut you a deal. Bagmilk@OilersNation.com. The voicemail, without question, is the most popular segment in this podcast. The clips always do the best. Last week, by the way, can I just brag just real quick? Can I just brag before we start the voicemail? Last week, Better Late Than Never generated 300,000 clip views on social media. 300,000. It was by far the most popular standalone podcast in the Nation Network in terms of clip views for the last 7 days. So I'm very, very grateful that I see you guys sharing it. I see you guys talking about it. And I'm super grateful that this little weirdo thing that we do together every week is getting a little bit of traction. By comparison, to compare apples to apples, Oilers Nation Radio is another podcast that I've started in the network. That one, much bigger than this one, by the way, by several factors. You know, much bigger podcast. That one generated 200,000 clip views. So I got to say thank you to all of you guys for sharing. And also a big thank you to my boy Waz. Waz is the one responsible with making the clips. Waz puts them all out. Waz has full autonomy when it comes to making clips for this podcast, and he's crushing it. And I do see that he's got a voicemail that coming up a little bit later. But to kick off the voicemail this week, we are starting with Ari.
Dude, why are we talking about Montreal's goalies right now? Like, really? Come on. Go higher. Throw the future out the window. Get Carter Hart. Because he's a bona fide, actually, NHL starter.
I did talk about Carter Hart last week. Frank Cervelli offered some thoughts and some details. Just back it up, Ari. I don't know when that voicemail came in, but chances are you probably sent that in before listening to the last week's show. I don't have the date on this. I don't have the date. Next up.
I have a theory, Bag Milk.
Go ahead.
We as Oilers fans have been so stung by the Peter Chiarelli era that it clouded our judgment as to how bad of a GM Ken Holland really is.
Hang on. Let me think about that. Clouded our judgment. Let's see where Ari goes with this.
So he's better than Chiarelli, right?
Mm-hmm.
But imagine what this team would look like with Vegas's or Colorado's management. The team would have been changed year after year after year after each playoffs. It would have changed over the summer. It would have changed over the past 2 summers. It wouldn't have stayed the same like Ken Holland left it. And, and I think that, just because he left the team the same doesn't mean that we can expect the boys to do the same thing year after year after year and compete with the teams that are making changes and improving over the offseason and the trade deadline. We can't be satisfied with 1 to 2 trades a year or the poor drafting.
Yeah, I think there's a couple layers there. So one, I'm totally good with mortgaging the future if it makes your team better today. The Oilers are in their window right now. I know it doesn't feel like it given where they're at in the standings right now. They're still second last place in the Pacific Division. But this is a team that should be making a push. So I do agree with Ari. They didn't do enough this summer. If you listen to ONR, if you listen to Oilers Nation Radio, we talked about the defense a lot on that podcast throughout the offseason and how they needed to upgrade the right side beyond what they have. And they didn't. It was the same group. It's still Bouchard, it's still Ceci, it's still Vinny Desharnais. Now, Ceci, Desharnais, and Bouchard are all taking steps forward, I believe, in their respective disciplines. That's very important to consider there. Evan Bouchard, offensive guy. He needs to take more steps forward on the defensive side of his game, though he has been better over the last handful. Vinny Desharnais has, he's improved his puck skills a little bit, but still, I think on a really good team, Vinny's probably not in the lineup. So I agree with that. When it comes to Vegas, they trade everybody all the time, and they make no apologies about it. They want to win, and they did last year, so it's hard to argue. Now, I do think that Ken Holland, another thing that in this conversation with Ken Holland is that some of the contracts that he did sign were very, very good. Zach Hyman, crushing it. Go find Leafs fans who thought he would be this productive in year 3 of that contract. Nobody bought it. 2, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. I know he annoys some people, but right now he's got the points coming back. He's starting to liven up a little bit. 5.1 for Nuge, and all he does, plays in all situations and produces the way he has and can. Great deal. Vander Kane, red hot right now. Great deal. Darnell Nurse, though, I think he's playing really, really good hockey. This isn't about how Darnell Nurse is playing on the ice. Contract's probably too much by $3 million. If you had an extra $3 million, tack it on to say, I don't know, Cody Cece's money, that would bring you to 625. All of a sudden, the defenseman that you could get in that slot, very fucking good. So there's those kind of things that pile up on Ken Holland a little bit. There's those kind of things. He's always had a reputation of signing his veterans. Like look at Detroit. They had some wild buyouts. They've got some wild contracts on the books. Those were all Ken Holland's before he left. So, live by the sword, die by the sword, I suppose. I've got Vinny. Vinny, we learned that you're only a child last week. You are a young man, so I'm only calling you Vinny C now. Vinny C, what do you got to say?
What's up, BM? It's your boy, Vinny's cock.
What did I just say? Nickel in the swear jar for you, sir.
I have a bone to pick with you, though.
All right.
First of all, I'm not Ben. You asked the last podcast. Not Ben. Vinny's cock.
Nope.
That's my legal name.
Vinny C.
Vinny's cock.
Nope. Vinny C.
We did, and we were on the same podcast once, but I've just changed my name legally. So, yeah. And by the way, 15 is not that young. I remember the Decade of Darkness very clearly.
No, you don't.
Nuge is my favorite player, by the way. I'm just a bit mad with him right now. So, yeah. So, I do remember the Decade of Darkness. So, before you saying I don't know what that was like, I know what it's like. Okay? All right? Anyways, goodbye.
Well, Vinny C. What were you born in, like 2008 or something? Yeah, you were born in like 2008. I'm doing my math here. There's no way you remember the Decade of Darkness all that much. There's no way. I do like you telling me off, though. That is very funny.
I think at the end of the day, it's just a hockey team. It's not that serious. And I'm sure that all of us have something that else we enjoy doing besides watching this team. And I suggest we all go ahead and do that. I think we've been hurt way more than watching our team be bad.
Well, Adam, when did that come in, Ari? Clearly before they just won 3 in a row. You'd have to imagine, right? Nick, you're up.
So Big Milk, the Oilers down 5-1 to the Hurricanes. The Hurricanes are about to go on the power play. So that means 6-1 Hurricanes. I don't really want to talk about this team. So I'm going to bring up last week on the voicemail. I left some dumbass voicemails. I'll admit it. This team is making me look dumb. My point was...
It makes us all look dumb, Nick. Don't feel too bad about it.
There's no point. Like, it just doesn't... My voicemails didn't make any sense. But you did ask me. You're like, Nick, why do you sound so out of breath? And there's a good answer to that. I'm not out of shape. I don't have lung problems or anything. I am normally a pretty slow talker. I like to take my time when I talk. To get all my points across in a 90-second voicemail, I have to talk really fast. And when you're talking really fast, you make a lot of mistakes. So I usually listen to the voicemail and say, okay, that sounded dumb. Okay, that's not what I meant to say.
But I'm going to send it anyway.
And I usually re-record them like 3-4 times.
Really?
So why it sounds like I'm out of breath is because I'm talking really fast, and I've done like 3-4 voicemails.
Don't do that. Do it like the voicemail, man. Send in the first take. First take. First takes only around here. That's what I'm into. Like, listen, man, think about this. I talk for an hour on this podcast completely by myself. Sometimes Satan's around, sometimes Quads is around, but for the most part, I just talk for a straight hour. One take, baby. One take, though I do have prep. I do have a full sheet of prep. Should I post that stuff? Will you guys be interested in what my prep looks like for this podcast? I'm happy to share that kind of stuff. You guys are, by the way, you're sharing your Spotify most listened to podcasts, and it just warms my heart to see, Ari shared his that I'm in there. Owen, I think it was. I don't remember. There's a couple of people that shared it. I want to give you credit. I want to give you some love here. So just bear with me. Bear with me. I'm going to look through who's sharing my podcast. I'm going to give you all some love. This is all Instagram, by the way. So DC Jans 10. Top 4 of his top 5 podcasts are all ON products. So we got Real Life number 1, ON Radio number 2, Better Late Than Never number 3, O&E with Tyler number 4, and then This Little Light. Is that Flea? I don't know what that is. I don't know if I've heard that podcast. Next up is Ari. Ari's favorite podcast is Solemn Monsters Sound Off. What is that? What is that podcast? They got a skull with headphones on. Up next, you got Better Late Than Never is number 2. Thank you, Ari. ON Radio is number 3. And then 32 Thoughts is number 4. Love that. Selling Yeg. Top podcast they listen to is Crash and Mars. And then Pardon My Take. 32 Thoughts. And then Real Life is right there. Better Late Than Never is not in there. But shout out to Real Life. I'm on that one too. And then it goes to, what is this? Oh, yeah, it goes to a stupid thing we made. Is there more balconies or basements in Canada, do you figure? I think it's balconies by far, just thinking about how many apartment buildings there are in big cities, like whether you're here in Edmonton, not necessarily a big city, but it is a city. Balconies everywhere, downtown. Vancouver, balconies everywhere. Toronto, balconies everywhere. Calgary, balconies everywhere. It's not even a really hard debate, in my opinion. Kyle the Embalmer, you're up.
Hey, BM. I was really hoping I'd get this in last week's episode, but I didn't record early enough. You probably already talked about it last week, but I want to talk about the Peel spec drama on Twitter, which I'm going to be honest, you'll probably disagree with me, but I think it's awesome.
Yeah, I thought it was hilarious. I did. Satan and I split the parts of the back and forth exchange. I mean, like, my problem that I had with it, well, you know what? You just go.
Spec's a trash reporter who gets called out, and it happens. And I don't think there's any expectation that when you enter someone's DMs that it's going to be a secret. I think that you post anything on social media, you can expect that at some point it could come out, regardless of the platform. But I mean,
excuse me while I go delete all my DMs, if that's the case.
Spec's a terrible reporter. How many games can you go in and talk to McDavid and just ask him in different ways? Hey, Connor, you lost this game. Wouldn't you have rather won? Oh, hey, Connor, they scored more goals than you did. Wouldn't you have rather won? Oh, hey, Connor, you guys lost again. Wouldn't you have rather won? What kind of fucking reporting is that? It's terrible. So fuck that guy.
So, yeah, the only thing I said is you can not like Spec all you want. Like, really doesn't bother me at all. One thing I would say is that Tim Peel's not without his own issues. Again, what I talked about last week was Frank Saravalli dunking on him, hard dunking on him, where he says, hey, man, and I'm paraphrasing here. He goes, hey, man, you been hammered, or have you been yelling at any kids in a dressing room lately, or are you drunk and tweeting again? So, yeah, I mean, I thought it was funny. I thought it was funny just like everybody else did.
So, Big Milk, the Oilers lost to the not the Florida Panthers. Holy shit. They lost to the Carolina Hurricanes.
They did.
At least they showed a bit of fight in that
6-3,
one.
I believe.
They tried to claw back.
So actually, yeah. So the third period of that game, if you need to go flashback a week, third period of that game, the Oilers played really, really good. Problem is when you're down by 4 goals, it's tough to come back. But that third period led into Friday, into Sunday, into Tuesday. So that third period seems to have kind of triggered some stuff, but we'll see how long it lasts ultimately.
Didn't get any puck luck.
Nope.
Which, surprise, surprise. It took the team a whole 15 minutes for my take on Woodcroft messing up the defensive system and messing up everyone's confidence to look like shit.
Call back to last episode. Nick was blaming Woody for the defensive structure, and in that game against the Carolina Hurricanes, they just look like a complete dumpster fire. Very, very funny timing.
I still think the defense is fucking awful, don't get me wrong, but I don't think it's any system. I just think I don't fucking know, because Carolina in that first period was snapping the puck around like they were on the fucking power play.
They were, yeah.
And they were 100%. Even strength. So the vibes are really, really, really fucking low with this team. So I want to bring in a special guest and hear how he feels about the Oilers.
Okay.
Welcome, Christopher Keith Chalmers.
Constant. And I was like, what the fuck is going on in my stomach? My locker was going up and down, driving me crazy, made me feel horrible mentally. They built that.
I agree, Chalmers. The Oilers do make me feel horrible mentally.
Hang on, I got a question. So obviously that's a clip from real life, but how long were you sitting on that specific clip for a voicemail? How did that work, Nick? What does the producing for that voicemail look like from your end? Because here I'm thinking about that's a very specific quote from Chalmers that you pulled out for a voicemail on Better Late Than Never. I don't even know when he said that. I'm on that podcast. Couldn't tell you. You can hear me laughing in the background of the clip. I find Chalmers to be very hilarious. Ari, your thoughts?
I was watching Oilers Nation every day, and I kept wondering, why you guys keep calling it the Thinning Cat YouTube chat? Is it like some sort of inside joke with the cat food and Tyler or something like that? And then I realized, oh shit, it's a sponsor. I can't be the only one who thought it was thinning instead of with an F. Not an actual cat.
Finning cat. Like cat. Like, fucking bulldozers and shit. They sell bulldozers. Cat. Finning cat. Go check out Dozers. Cat Dozers. Interesting name. But yeah, that is why the Oilers Nation Every Day YouTube chat is called the Finning Cat YouTube chat, because it is a sponsored chat by our friends at Finning. There you go. Ari putting things together. Ooh, I see Mike is in here with a couple of voicemails. Is this going to be a bumper for me, Mr. Sexy Voice?
So I just hit this record button and start talking. Okay, well, I was skip.
What was that? There's no way that's what you planned. There's no way. Well, let's try this one.
Whoopsie daisy. Looks like I hit the wrong button there for a minute. Anyways, all these youngins talking about trading Leon Draisaitl gotta give their head a shake. In my day, we didn't like the Germans. But it's not that time no more. So just lay off a little bit, Show the boys some love. Thanks.
Uh-huh. Pepperidge Farm remembers.
What the fuck was
that? I like that people got impressions that go on this podcast. That makes me happy. We're all in this together. I just get buttons where I got to push it, and then I got to sound fun. You guys don't get that, so you're making up your own. Unless I use this one, in which I really, really hate it.
I am a large robot. I do not like the sound of this filter, but here I am as a large robot.
Anyway.
Good afternoon.
Oh, good afternoon.
You're listening to The Donkey. Just book tickets to see the Pet Shop Boys in Belfast. Oh. Good afternoon, sexy boys and girls.
I didn't know the Pet Shop Boys were on tour. The Pet Shop Boys, I think about them sometimes, and it's not for the reason you probably think. The Pet Shop Boys have a song called West End Girls, right? Donkey Volley's listening to this. I'm expecting a voicemail with West End Girls coming from him. Now, that song is a great song on its own. But when Guar covers it, Do you know who Guar is? If you don't know who Guar is, I'm going to stop here. I'm just going to give you 15 seconds. Go. Google Guar. Come right back. Have you Googled? You got your phone out? It's taking so long. Are you a slow typer? Guar. Gwar. Anyway, they have a cover of West End Girls. I absolutely love it. I listened to it probably, I don't even know. I couldn't tell you. At least a couple times a month. It's just a fucking great cover. And they put their own little spin on it. Hilarious.
So, Big Milk, I saw a couple ads on my Instagram and on my TikTok that I feel the need to leave a voicemail, though.
Sure.
First of all, I just saw an ad that the FIA Big Air World Cup presented by Toyota is coming back to Commonwealth Stadium.
Don't tease me. You know the memories I have. You're triggering me, Nick.
Sometime in December. So my question is Yaremchuk taking you to make up for him bailing on your date for his family Christmas, which was 20 days before Christmas? And then secondly, I haven't seen it on TV yet, but I've seen it on TikTok and I've heard it on the radio. The Rogers Wrapped in Red event is back, but it's a whole new commercial. And I gotta say, it is significantly less annoying. I mean, come on, I'm the honorary Better Lait Than Never Rogers Wrapped in Red event enthusiast.
Don't you dare do it.
And there's no show tunes to annoy you. It's just, I think it's a lot more simple of a commercial.
Don't you dare do it.
Now, I'm sure if they play it every fucking commercial break 4 times, it'll get annoying. But it's not inherently as annoying as the Rogers Wrapped Red event from last year. There's no, the Rogers Wrapped in Red event, nothing like that. So the new Rogers Wrapped in Red event gets a thumbs up, and Yaremchuk taking you to the FIA Big Air World Cup to make up for last year also gets a thumbs up. If he doesn't, fuck you, Yaremchuk. You still have a hot wife.
Oh, some love for Amber in there. They're not married, though. Not yet. I mean, we always say he's married. So now, as you're doing that, Nick, as you were just talking to me, I just tweeted at Tyler. I said, hey, Tyler Yaremchuk, with a link to the FIS snowboard Big Air World Cup. Let's see what he says back. I'll check back in on that as we continue through the voicemail to see if Tyler wants to play along. Shout out to Tyler, and apparently shout out to Amber.
You're listening to Better Late Than Never.
But that was aggressive donkey volley. Sounded like you were lifting your house.
So as much as the Oilers are getting back to normal and, Connor and Leon are getting back to normal, putting up points and stuff, I want to show some love to Evander Kane.
Sure.
This guy's a stud like me. I go to the gym, I pull women. This guy does the same too.
Yeah.
I think he's been really consistent lately, and I think we really needed that. As much as, the entire team sucked for a good portion of the year, I think he's been probably one of the most consistent Oilers the entire time.
I'm a stud. I go to the gym. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In his last 8 games, Evander Kane has 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 goals. Doesn't get any more consistent than that, friends. 8 goals in his last 8 games. That was a hat trick included in there, of course, versus Seattle. Comeback win. It was a fucking beauty. Scored last night, stepping in for Zach Hyman on the power play. Evander Kane has been rock solid. Rock solid. Kyle the Embalmer, you're up next as we're working through the voicemail.
Oh, hey, BM.
Oh, hey.
So just wanted to talk about what? Hey, Corey, what are you doing here? Oh, you want to leave a message? Oh, okay. Well, here, go ahead.
Oh,
go ahead.
no. Oh, no.
Bedard's mom has got it going on. She's all I want, and I've waited for so long.
Oh,
Connor,
no.
can't you see you're the stepson for me? I know it might be wrong, but I'm in love with Bedard's mom.
We at Better Lait Than Never do not subscribe to Kyle the Embalmer's voicemails or the messages therein. I read the story from Frank Saravalli over at dailyfaceoff.com earlier in the news, and we do not subscribe to Kyle's songs or his covers or his hatred of Evan Bouchard. Right? Good. All right.
So for my university level English class, we have an assignment where we have to find an article, an editorial, something like that, and answer some questions on it.
Sure.
So you want to know what article I chose?
Please.
I chose 3 key things: death, taxes, and the Oilers breaking your heart.
Fucking
I chose
right.
your article, BM.
Fucking right. Listen, I'm excited. If there's ever anybody who's going to take my article and use it for a university class, this is the time to do it. Shout out to you, Ari. Shout out to you. You know? I'm not just here to inform. I'm here to educate.
So I have to I have to find 1 or 2 things that summarize your point. I have to say why I think it's good. 2 sentences that are beautiful, interesting, or impressive. The style, and I have to evaluate it.
Okay.
So I'll let you know what mark I get.
Yeah, let me know how it goes. I'd love to know if you need me to write an unlicensed doctor's note to your university professor. Just slide on into me DMs, Ari. You know how to get a hold of me. Last voicemail for the Frank's face recovery, because he's got no teeth, voicemail. Waz, my boy, what do you got to say?
Bag milk. I know who the Oilers should bring in to solve a couple issues. Bring in a little bit of grit. Coveted free agent, Gail Lewis. What do you think? Have you seen her highlights from her time at Walmart? 10-year grizzled veteran. Not sure if she can play defense or goalie. She'd probably do it all, to be honest. It's Gail Lewis. I mean, did you see her in her prime? So I think the Oilers should consider making Gail Lewis. Give her a call. That's all.
If you don't know what the fuck Waz is talking about, and I fully understand if you don't, Gail Lewis went viral on TikTok for the way she quit her job at Walmart. You know? So how did Gail Lewis go viral? Lewis posted a TikTok video giving a sign off from her last shift at her job, where she goes, end of an era. The video had about 25 million views or so, something like that. But it worked at Walmart for 10 years and really, really took off, the video. So it goes, attention Walmart, I'm Gail Lewis. I'm paraphrasing here. I've been, 10 years working here. Good night. Signing out. Something like that. If you've ever seen a video like that where a canine retires from the police force, it was kind of like that. Waz, I had to do a longer explanation than your voicemail. Waz, I'm going to teach you here. I'm going to teach you here publicly. If you're going to bring up a name like Gail Lewis, you got to give a little context for the listeners, because they don't know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about because I study you like a zoo animal. I like to watch you. I like to keep my finger on the pulse of all things Waz. So I knew what you were getting at. But you're out of your mind, Waz. You know I love you, but you're out of your mind. Breaking news. Tyler Yaremchuk has liked my tweet where I tweeted at him, the FIS Snowboard Big Air World Cup is coming back to Edmonton. No acknowledgements from Tyler other than a like on the tweet. I think that means we're not going. I think that means we're not going to be making it again. Dare to dream. One day I will convince Tyler Yaremchuk to hang out with me outside of the office. Outside of a work event. He did go to Philadelphia to go spend American Thanksgiving with Frank Saravalli. I can't even get him to go to an event in our city. So, see who he likes more, I guess. It's not me. It's not me.
Tie-tie, why won't you kiss me?